Maayong hapon, naminaw mo sa Radyo Kapwa, CKUT 90.3 FM. For all Filipinos are Filipino enough.
Bon après-midi, magandang hapon. Nakikinig po kayo sa Radyo Kapwa on CKUT 90.3 FM. Fran Stoner here, joined as usual by the wonderful Desiree Ruiz, Veronica Bertiz, and Laura Kaluya, making sure we sound super good and smooth. And aren't we all happy about this sunshine coming in? Beautiful, beautiful weather. I can smell the summer coming, and it's amazing. We have a wonderfully talented photographer joining us today by the name of Anjelica Tagubar. They are a part of the Ka Collective, and as well as our kind of designated photographer when we need anything done over here at Radio Kapwa, at Sound Kapwa. So we're super, super grateful that they get to kind of share their talents with us, gift us with their talents to the community. So hello, Anjelica, welcome. Please introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about you and what you do and whatever you're comfortable sharing.
Hi, magandang umaga. Good morning. I'm Anjelica Tagubar. I'm a photographer. I'm a Filipina photographer based in Terrebonne. I arrived here in 2016. And photography was my way of like really knowing the place, meeting people, and like finding the community that like I'm just like there enjoying like the moment and capturing the beauty in mundane. Also, yeah, it's fun to like really. It was my way of like as a introvert it was my way of like talking or like having conversations. Like having a camera with you is like a conversation starter. It's my way of like connecting with people also. It was like a privilege to like meet beautiful artists and yeah, and I was also like finding something kapwa.
Yes. Can you actually tell us how you got into photography in the first place? Like, were you doing photography in the Philippines, or is that something you picked up here because you were trying to get acclimated? Like, I'm not sure. I'd love to know the story behind that, because one of the most inspiring and beautiful kind of photo collages that I've seen of yours is, I can't remember exactly what the plant was, but basically you took a picture of a plant that we have in the Philippines that's indigenous to the Philippines, and you had a picture of one in the Philippines and then one at the Biodome here. And I love that collage and like that complexity of diaspora experience, right? Of like same but different. Yeah, so tell us a little bit more about how did photography kind of come into your life?
Oh, actually, I didn't really consider myself as an artist because I come from like I am a nurse actually. I'm a nurse in the Philippines. I wanted like before taking up like nursing, I really wanted to get into fine arts. I was really into arts. But like it was a thing where like your mom was like my mom was like, no, you're not gonna make any money out of that. It's like a typical
Oh, yes, I think we can all resonate being pushed towards nursing, wanting to be an artist or something different, and being told, anong gagawin mo dyan?
I mean, walang pera dyan. It doesn't make any money. Yeah, so yeah, it was actually my mom who wanted to be a nurse, and then she passed it on to me. Like, you should take up nursing because that makes money and you can go abroad. It was a thing that like you can go abroad. That wasn't even a thing that you need to like help out like sick people, which is sad. And so yeah, I actually took up nursing. I wasn't even sure if I'm yeah, like you have doubts of like yeah, I know like can I make money out of art? So yeah, I'm gonna do nursing. It makes more money. So yeah, I was just following like everyone. Like my friends were there too. So yeah, I finished nursing and I wasn't no, I didn't even work as a nurse too. So I just like worked like for a few months and then I realized like no, this is not for me. And fast forward like I moved here in Quebec. Um yeah, it was my I've been fascinated with art as in general. and like how things work and like how artists are. But also like but for photography part, I actually started like, when you move to a new country and like everything is new. Like it was my first time traveling to like outside Philippines. It's like, oh, this is cool. This is cool, and at the same time it's scary because like, oh, it's not like the Philippines. It's cold. I arrived in like May, I think, and it was snowing. Like there was a bit of snow, and I wasn't wearing any like jacket because it's like, oh, this is nothing. But it's so cold. It was cold and it didn't make any sense. Like, oh yeah, and yeah, so I did photography just to start. Like, I used my phone. Like, it was like few years that I used my phone. I was just like taking photos of everything, like the places here, the food, actually, the food also, and people too. People like people that I like. I had this like project in mind of like, I want to make a like series of like portraits of like people that I met in Quebec, like for the first like few years that I moved here. So yeah, that was like a start for me. And then I remember like my first sueldo, or like my first pay from the first job that I had. I bought a film camera. I was like, yay, I can buy. There's like it was surprising too because there were like few film photography shops here in Quebec. So it was cool. Like I was just like experimenting and like finding out how like film works. So yeah, it continued, and then I decided to study for photography, actually, professional photography sa LaSalle. And yeah, it just like continued. Like I met like a few people that are like into photography as well, and other artists. So yeah, it was like, that's my story. I also I forgot, like I enjoy like photo a lot of photo walks, like like by myself, and like in Montreal. Like I always go for a day, like to go, just go, like not plan anything, but like just walk and just take photos. That was like my way of like making like exploration for me.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. I love hearing how you always wanted to get into art, but then it was like, no, be a nurse. But I love hearing how the art just was always so much stronger. And it was always just like, no, 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 no. And then you move here, and then it was like, I want to take pictures and I want to document my new experience and the new food and the new people. And through that, you met community and you met people. And again, it's like this, the spirit of your purpose of, the artist that you are, the photographer that you are, is just like so much, so strong. And I think that's so amazing and lovely to hear. And I love hearing also, like how it felt when you came here. Well, my question is, when was the last time you visited the Philippines, and what do you miss the most about the Philippines?
Oof. Uh, the last time I visited was 2020. Yeah, it was before like the pandemic, and yeah, I was there for like 2 months. I was actually like my partner and I were supposed to just stay for a month, and then like the day that like I decided to extend for 2 months. So yeah, I was like, I want to stay. I want to go back to Quebec, like the cold winter.
Where are you from in the Philippines?
I'm from Bohol.
Mm.
Yeah, Bohol. I lived like my whole like 20 something years in Bohol. It's like a small island in like the Visayas. It's hard to like say like what do I miss the most. I mean, it's more like for maybe the people, or like my friends and like my family. They're still there, and then like I grew up there, and like I really had like half of my life in the Philippines. So yeah, it's the people, like my friends, my family.
And you had mentioned food earlier, how you like to document food. I'm just curious, like, what food do you miss the most from the Philippines and from Bohol?
Food is like, oh my god, there's a lot of food. Like not uh in Visayas or like in Bohol, we're like we're really into, even if it's so warm, we're like into soup or sabaw. Like if it's like 30 degrees and then people, you can just see like people having soup. But also my favorite food, like comfort food, like really is sinugba. It's called sinugba. It's just grilled pork, but like I don't know how, but like we have like a certain way of like cooking it, but it doesn't taste the same when you like have those grilled pork here, or it's just easy, like a simple like salt and something, and then you just have a sausawan or like a dip, and it's so good. It was my favorite like food to eat. Like we do it like every Sunday in the Philippines.
Mm. I love that. And sounds like, again, it's not just the food. It sounds like it's also who you're sharing the food with.
Yes, yeah, it was my like always like a request for like Sunday when my mom asked, because I wasn't really living in our hometown. I was like in the city for like studies of all my like from elementary to like university, and every time I come back to like our town, it's like always something. I mean, there's a lot of food that we can not find here, or, like, but grilled pork is always like my favorite.
I love that. I love how food just brings us together. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you were connected to Deanne, who is also a member of Ka Collective and Kapwa Center, through a post when she was when she was on her dark chocolate phase and taking pictures. And isn't that how the two of you connected? Through food?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was food. Like when I think I followed her because of what was that event? Pinay Power.
Oh,
After Pinay Power, we were just like the participants were just following and then each other on Instagram, and like, oh, Diane is cool. Like she lives in Montreal too. And she was posting a lot of like, yeah, she was posting a lot of things about like the dark chocolate face. And then that time I had like the tablea from Bohol. So like, oh, I could send it to her. I mean, I'm not like I don't really use it a lot, and like it's really cool to like share it to people. So yeah, that was the start. Like I sent her like a tablea, and then after that it was like, yeah, we were just hanging out and like,
AC, you're like you are in a sense for South Capua, and we, Veronica speaking, by the way, for our dear listeners. You are not the target in a sense, but like the fact that you are from Terrebonne, and the fact that you are looking for people to like connect with, especially within the Filipino community, within the diaspora, and you found it, right? Slowly but surely you ended up like connecting to a bigger and bigger and bigger Filipino network in here. But within our generation, within the first generations of immigrant who arrive in here, and then slowly getting to know a bigger connection within the community, you're kind of like my gateway to the Bisayan people, because I'm very Tagalog Manila centric, and you always call me out for it, like, just like, no, Veronica, it's just because you're from Manila, like, things exist outside Manila, right? And I really, that's probably why I really enjoyed being with you, because tu me renseignes, like that's what it is, because I was born in the Philippines, but the existence of other islands, like now I have like a map of the Philippines chez moi, and it's always been like, oh, AC's from here, and and John Marvin is from this island, and it always touched on my curiosity. And then you add the fact that there's this questions of your photography, and when you did workshop here and there, either with Ka Collective, you start doing photo voices, right? And I think that's where me being talking a lot and having a lot of observation, and you having photo voices, is like the intersection. And it's funny that you say that photography is not something that we use because it's not what we do, because it's not sustainable in our community, and that's why you gotta be a nurse, because that's what's going to ahon you sa hirap, and you can get out of the Philippines. Um, in When you're doing your photography and you do a little bit of small exhibits with Dayan, what does in what ways you were told that you weren't Filipino enough because you do this photography and this kaartehan?
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, I get it. Like, yeah, when I explain it to like my friends or like family, like, what are you doing? Like, you're a photographer now. Do you get paid for this?
Mhm.
It's like, I'm not in it for the money for sure. If it was for the money, I would have been like rich too.
Yeah.
And then, but like, no, it's not the point. Like, yeah, it's like, I do it because I love it. I love doing it, and like, I love how like I connect to other people. And also this thing about like we're we're not Filipino enough. It's like I haven't had like that experience where I was told to be not like Filipino enough. Ah, no, wait. I
Ooh.
have. My cousin actually told me like, no, you sound like the way you speak, and then you forgot your. I forget like some Visayan words now. So when she tells me like, oh, you're like a foreigner now, or like America. They say Americana, but like it's it's not even that. But like, oh, okay. So I'm like changing now, or like something.
Yeah, and it's pretty wild how the going to a new country and learning new languages or having to use like the language that wasn't dominant in your life, because a lot of Filipinos already spoke English, but it wasn't the dominant language. It's so interesting how that code switching is
Yeah.
seen as becoming less Filipino when that's not what's happening here.
Yeah.
It's that my identity is growing and getting more complex because I've moved around. It didn't Having more experiences didn't remove my Filipino-ness, but it's weird how they see it that way, right? I think that's what you're getting at, Laura.
Yeah, it's exactly that. And it's really interesting how because you've lived there for most of your life, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So for you to experience that is it's I couldn't understand it. You know what I mean? Because I never lived there. So it's a different kind of not feeling Filipino enough. Of course, we come to the last question. What does kapwa mean to you? Because you answered the question of Filipino enough already.
Uh, the first thing, the first word that comes into mind when I hear kapwa is like connection. I mean, it's all like, but also like, there's like we share a bond with other people, or like, we have a like we share that, but like we may have differences. Like, example, like we don't like the same things, or like we have different social status also. But like when it comes to kapwa, it's like we strip all of that, remove like our ego, and then come together to like share a bond. So that's what kapwa means to me. It's like being neighbors with each other, good neighbors with each other.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on to the show, AC Tagubar. We appreciate you and we hope to have you again. Thank you for all the listeners for listening to CKUT 90.3 FM, Radyo Kapwa. We hope to see you next time.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. That was today's interview with Anjelica Tagubar, photographer based in Terrebonne, Quebec. Up next is John Marvin bringing you Philippine news.
Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Marvin Reyes. I am a youth leader and a community organizer here bringing you important news back home in the Philippines. The article is from Rappler with the title, Philippines, China commit to working on resolving differences. The Philippines and China pledged on Saturday, April 22nd, to work together to resolve their maritime differences in South China Sea, where the two have competing claims, and to deepen bilateral ties. Talks between the countries' foreign ministers marked the latest in a series of high-level meetings of the Philippines with leaders of the United States and China as two superpowers battle for strategic advantage in the Indo-Pacific. Manila's relation with Beijing are more than just their differences over the South China Sea, Philippine Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo said as he began talks with Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang in Manila. These differences should not prevent us from seeking ways of managing them differently and effectively, especially with respect to enjoyment of rights of Filipinos, especially fishermen. Manalo said, adding that their livelihoods are undermined by incidents and actions in the waterway. Since the Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. took office in June, the Philippines has filed dozens of diplomatic protests at the presence of Chinese fishing vessels and what it calls China's aggressive actions in the strategic waterway. The two neighbors need to work together to continue a tradition of friendship, deepen cooperation, and properly resolve differences, Qin said in his opening remarks. Working together would help promote peace and stability of the region and the world, Qin said. His visit comes just weeks after the Philippines announced the location of 4 additional U.S. military bases, 2 of which are facing north towards Taiwan. Qin is to meet Marcos later on Saturday ahead of the president's meeting with the U.S. President Joe Biden in Washington in May. More than 17,000 Philippine and U.S. soldiers are conducting their largest ever joint military drills in the Southeast Asian country, drawing criticism from Beijing, Manila's rival in the South China Sea. A landmark ruling in the Permanent Court of Arbitration in 2016 invalidated China's claims of sovereignty over almost all of the South China Sea, which sees the passage of about 3 trillion worth of shipborne goods annually and is believed to be rich in mineral and oil and gas deposits. Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, Indonesia, and Philippines have competing claims in the portions of the waterway. The article I just read you was published on April 22, 2023. Thank you so much for listening. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig. Once again, this is John Marvin Reyes, delivering you Philippine news from abroad.
Nagpapaganang bala sa init ng titig, ako pa rin napapaisip. Di basta-basta na maaakit, puso at utak magkapit-bisig. Palapit na ng palapit, palapit na ng palapit, pahigpit na ng pahigpit. Huwag ka nang umalis, nakakainis ang bilis ng takbo ng oras. Palapit na ng palapit, palapit na ng palapit, pahigpit na ng pahigpit. Huwag ka nang umalis, nakakainis ang bilis ng humahampas ang hangin ng katotohanan. Ngunit ayokong malanghap ng tuluyan. Ayaw kong maramdaman pilit na iniiwasan. Di matakas ang kakaibang nararamdaman. Di ko mapigilan, di ko rin mahindian. Hinahanap-hanap ko't pinabalik-balikan. Laging ganadong dumayo, gando man kalayo. Ikaw ang pahinga ko't sa'yo ay kalmado. Palapit na ng palapit, palapit na ng palapit, pahigpit na ng pahigpit. Huwag ka nang umalis, nakakainis ang bilis ng takbo ng oras. Palapit na ng palapit, palapit na ng palapit, pahigpit na ng pahigpit. Huwag ka nang umalis, nakakainis ang bilis ng ikulong mo ako, ikulong mo ako, ikulong mo ako sa mainit na mga bisig mo. Bubulong ko sa'yo, bubulong ko sa'yo, bubulong ko sa'yo. Mga nais ko na malaman mo.
Palapit na ang takip silim, kasabay ng pagdilim, mamamangaling, manino sa paligid. May gustong sabihin, dami ng mga mata, bakit di marinig? Di ko matanggi, puso nagwagi, utak balisa. Sa'yo ay sabik na sabik na sabik. Bigkas ng bibig, halik sa liig, saksak sa dibdib, bilib na bilib. Ngiti at halik mo'y hanap ko. Akin na, hangin na galing sa labi mo. Baka pwede pa, kakaiba, bukod tangi at dahil ganadong lumayo sa'yo ay kalmado. Ikol lang ako sa kwarto mong kwadrato.
Palapit na ng palapit, palapit na ng palapit, pahigpit na ng pahigpit, huwag ka nang umalis. Nakakainis, ang bilis ng takbo ng oras. Palapit na ng palapit, palapit na ng palapit, pahigpit na ng pahigpit, huwag ka nang umalis. Nakakainis, ang bilis ng takbo ng oras.
Matitiis kahit na ako'y mainis sa'yo. Ako'y manunuyo pa rin sa mga araw na ika'y matampuhin, dahil ikaw ang aking tahanan. Ikaw pa rin ang aking uuwian. Pilit mangitulak palayo, hihilahin ang tadhana, babalik sa'yo, dahil sa minsan mong pagngiti, alam kong ako'y mananatili, dahil ikaw ang aking kalungan. Ako naman ang iyong sandalan. Umabot man sa puntong kailangan mo kong iwan, ay bibitaw na rin, labag man sa aking kalooban, dahil ika'y aking mahal. Kung may susunod mang buhay para sa atin, hihilingin makilala ang muli. Ikaw pa rin ang aking uuwian.
You just heard 3:15 by Sid Hartha featuring Kyo and Celeste by Totapi. Stick around for more OPM hits.
Parang kailan lang tayo'y magkasama, nakahiga't minamasta ng mga tala. Tinatangkilik ang gabi, tayong dalawa'y magkatabi, walang makakasira sa ating sandali. Di mawala sa isipan ang ating mga alaala, kailan makasama muli. Araw-araw ay tumatawid sa aking sandali wala sa isipan ang ating mga alaala. Kailan makasama muli? Araw-araw ay tumatawid sa aking panaginip pa. Dati-dati ating mga nakaraan. Dati-dati tinakanang walang hanggan. Dati-dati ano ba ang mga paraan pang maranasan ang mga araw tulad ng dati-dati. Na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Dati-dati. Na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Ano ba ang mga paraan pang maranasan ang mga araw tulad ng dati-dati ating mga nakaraan. Dati-dati tinakanang walang hanggan. Dati-dati ano ba ang mga paraan pang maranasan ang mga araw tulad ng dati-dati. Na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Dati-dati. Na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Ano ba ang mga paraan pang maranasan ang mga araw tulad ng
Palagay basang-basa ang dagit, abay damang-dama sa'king kalam ng punong-puno ng pananabik at ng kabalalim. Sa'king bawat paghinga nakatitig lamang sa iyo. Naglakad ka ng dahan-dahan sa pasilyo tungo sa altar ng simbahan. Hahagkanan, di ka bibitawan. Wala na akong sa pagtanda ang hiling sa Diyos na may gawa. Apelido ko'y maging iyo. Naglakad ka ng dahan-dahan sa pasilyo tungo sa'kin at hinawakan mo ako't aking binapigilang maluhan ng mayakap na ikaw ang ikaw.
You just listened to Dati Dati by Sarah Geronimo and Basilio by Sunkissed Lola. Stick around, we have a couple more songs and then community announcements.
Kung ako lang ang papipiliin, kung ibabalik ba ang kamay ng oras, o lilipad
Shawty, I've been feeling lonely. Memories of 2019. On the beach and we vibing. Cold ones on hand, we excited. Good trip, psilocybin. It's me, you, in the horizon. I've been talking about life and I'm locked in. Great girl, soft skin and she glowing. No, she don't want commitment, but we be both down just to ride in the moment. Craving for the one, but you keep your distance. She only be close when it comes to the limit. But I've been saying yes, cause man, she a 10. I convos in the same wavelength. I don't need money, man, I don't need cash. The only thing I need is a shawty real bad. Oh, di watang ganda, mahiwag mahiga sa'kin. Hulog ng langit. Oh, di watang ganda, mahiwag mahiga sa'kin. Napapaibig. Kahit saan padalhin, araw man o gabi. Diwata o, kay gandang diwata o. Kahit saan padalhin, araw man o gabi. Diwata o, kay gandang diwata o. Check my phone, young boy got a text. 12 a.m. all alone, what's next? Find my keys and I hit the gas. In an hour I'll be up for the task. Like a blast from the past. I ain't confused, but girl, I'm attached. This is not good, my heart's beating fast. Will this thing we have really last? I don't know yet, but I'm craving for you. Cause this feels so true. If there's heaven on earth, baby girl, I'll feel it with you. I really wanna beg you, boo. One is best enjoyed with a glass for two. Please tell me, baby, do you feel it too? Is it mutual? We just comfortable? I don't know. Oh, di watang ganda, mahiwag mahiga sa'kin. Hulog ng langit. Oh, di watang ganda, mahiwag mahiga sa'kin. Napapaibig. Kahit saan padalhin, araw man o gabi. Diwata o, kay gandang diwata o. Kahit saan padalhin, araw man o gabi. Diwata o, kay gandang diwata o. Baby, baby, I've been going crazy when you don't pretend. When you don't pretend. Lately, baby, I've been going crazy when you don't pretend. When you don't pretend. Oh, di watang ganda, mahiwag mahiga sa'kin. Hulog ng langit. Oh, di watang ganda, mahiwag mahiga sa'kin. Napapaibig. Kahit saan padalhin, araw man o gabi. Diwata o, kay gandang diwata o. Kahit saan padalhin, araw man o gabi. Diwata o, kay gandang diwata o.
Ikaw agad ang bungad ng magandang umaga. Hindi kompleto ang araw pag di kita kasama. Okay lang, nandito lang ako na laging nakaabang. Kahit na magdamag, ano naman kung ilang oras ang masayang. Di naman ako manghihinayang. Handa kong magbaba at makasama ka lang. Ayos lang kahit gabihin pa ako kakatingin. Dahil di ka nakakasawang tingnan. Pumasdan ang iyong mga mata. Susundan, susundan, saan mo magpunta? Basta't ngumiti ka lang palagi, lagi, lagi. Oh, lagi, lagi ngumiti ka lang sa
ba mula nung dumating ka? Bumalik yun na wala akong sigla. Ikaw ang naglagay ng tamis, sinalis ang pait sa masama kong timpla. Sa buong buhay ko, ngayon ko lang naranasan ng saya ng mundo. Kasi dahil sa'yo, okay lang anak kung ilang oras ang masayang. Di naman ako manghihinayang, handa kong magbabad, makasama ka lang. Ayos lang kahit gabihin pa ko kakatingin. Dahil di ka nakakasawang tingnan, pagmasdan ng iyong mga mata. Wow, wow, wow. Susundan, susundan, saan mo magpunta? Wow, wow. Basta't ngumiti ka lang palagi, lagi, lagi. Oh, lagi, lagi ngumiti ka lang sa'kin, akin, akin. Palagi, ngumiti ka lang palagi, lagi, lagi. Oh, lagi, ngumiti ka lang palagi. Na na na, na na na, yeah, 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 yeah. Ngumiti lang palagi, ngumiti lang. Oh.
The last three songs you heard were from the OPM Hits playlist on Spotify. First song was Lutang by Jika Marie. Secondly, we have Diwata by Sam Concepcion. And lastly, Lagi by Skusta Lee. That's it for music this week. This weekend, we're officially entering spring. For those who just did their spring cleaning, please consider donating those things. Everything you have goes out the door and into Welcome Collective. They'll be collecting anything you don't want. Welcome Collective is a non-profit organization offering a support service for asylum seekers by helping them facilitate their integration in our society. For more info, please visit their Instagram page at WeCobien. That's at WeCobien. Today, Wednesday, April 26th, Head and Hands is offering their weekly legal aid clinic about immigration and family matters. Tomorrow, Thursday, April 27th, it'll be about tenancy, succession, and family. Check out their Instagram page at head_and_hands to fill out their intake form. This Friday, April 28th, a local Filipino band, Beautifully Sabotage, is having a live show held at La Petite Marche, located at 5053 Saint-Denis Street. For more information, please visit their Instagram account at Sabotage Beautiful. This Saturday, April 29th, Superboat People is hosting a workshop of a classic Khmer dance to start the Asian Heritage Month this coming May. The event will take place from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at Concordia University. You can reserve your spot by checking out their Instagram at Superboat People. Since you're already at Concordia University, you can spend your evening at Le Frigo Vert for trans-inclusive community dinner starting at 5:30, organized by and for 2STGNC Plus community. It is a pay-what-you-can event. For more info, you can visit their Instagram at Le Frigo Vert. However, if you were hoping to have a Filipino dining experience, Cafe Kuya still has spots left on their 8 p.m. Kamayan event dinner. It is limited spots, and they're going pretty quickly, so hurry up and reserve your spot now by checking out their Instagram at Cafe Kuya. That is CAFEKUYA, Cafe Kuya. Book now. So we actually have time for one more track. Yay, more music. Up next and last up on the hour is Peach Tree Rascals with Mariposa. beautiful band. We're going to end it on this. I want to wish everyone a wonderful week. Take care and stay connected with your community. This is Justin signing out on Radio Kapwa on CKUT 90.3 FM. Take care and see you next time.
Play the chorus. My way, but I'm far away, but I'll keep running just to find a way to you till then.
I've been running from it, tired of running from it, scared of feeling something now, stuck and trying to get up out of this hole. I tried to be strong, I tried to make it work, but I've been feeling too numb. Skies are bleeding on me, why'd you leave me lonely? Feeling wetly stony now, stuck and wonder where I ever went wrong. How could I be strong? I'm fighting for your love.
I can't wait for you to come my way. I've been far away, but I'll keep running just to find a way to you till then.
I don't see light in your love anymore. There ain't no reason I'm going to fall. I don't like feelings and feeling like running for something and feeling so out of control. I know that the feelings are gone. I'm spending too much time alone. I'm hoping you pick up the phone and ring me when you wanna stay overnight. My shoulders right, my baby is all that I want, and I play them all of my favorite songs. That lady is my favorite one.
I can't wait for you to come my way. I've been far away, but I'll keep running just to find a way to you till then. Ain't never gonna let you go. Got my heart, NASCAR racing, shining, never fading. He just left you hanging, feeling for your love, all worth it for the waiting. Give you what you need, take you where you want. Can feel it when we're all alone. Know you're wanting something more. My heart is like an open door. Just ring me when you wanna go.
I'll wait till you're home, hold a place till you're coming home, show you where the garden grows. Just ring me when you wanna go.
I can't wait for you to come my way. I've been far away, but I'll keep running just to find a way to you till then.
Liberation for one is liberation for us all. Padayon o pag-amping.